Hey there, welcome to First Glance with Jody Vance. Very excited to introduce you to our new member of our team at First Glance. We always love a debut. We always love to be the first to speak with a company that perhaps might land on your investment path, a growing and emerging exploration company. Beyond Minerals is the name of the company, BY on the Canadian Securities Exchange. And our guest is Allan Frame. Good to talk with you, Allan. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much, Jody. It's great to be on your show.
So I want to learn about you. As I mentioned off the top on First Glance with Jody Vance, we like to introduce our listener or our viewer to companies where they might find an opportunity to invest. Why would you tell somebody to invest in Beyond Minerals?
Well, there are several reasons, and it's kind of a multifaceted question. Firstly, I'm the president and CEO of Beyond Minerals, and I've been so for about 2 months. So the obvious question might be why? Why am I involved? And why am I interested? Well, I was in the investment business for 47 years with various different brokerage firms in Canada, including some very large national ones and some smaller boutique firms. Yeah, I did oil and gas in the 70s and the 80s, and I've done mining IPOs for maybe the last 20, 25 years. And I ended my career with Haywood. While I was at Haywood and before I retired, I did the IPO for Beyond Minerals. I met Victor Cantore, one of the founders, and Alain Lambert, another founder whom I'd done business with in the past successfully, I might add, and sort of help them to set up a tight little vehicle to go on the hunt for specialty minerals and try to, make the company stand out from others by virtue of share structure and hopefully ultimately by acquisitions of properties. So after I retired, they came to me a couple months ago and asked me if I'd take on a different role. I'm not a founder of the company, but I am now the president and CEO because when they asked me, I was privileged because the share structure was so tight. And they had decided that they would have a focus on lithium. And lithium, of course, is on everybody's minds, even if you don't know what it looks like, you heard it, right?
Yeah.
So it's lithium this, lithium that. If you want a greener community, et cetera, electric cars, you're going to have a lot more than what's around right now. So when I saw the company was going to take that direction and they asked me to join them, I was eager to do so. So I did. So what I bring to the table is finance expertise. I've literally taken hundreds of companies public through IPOs. I couldn't tell you how much money I've raised for them over the years, but it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And most of them have been successful, not all of them, but the vast majority of them. And what I have learned is the difference between a good structure and a bad structure. That's for sure. It's not my first rodeo when it comes to that. So that's why I joined the company and that's why I'm interested in it. So after that, of course, we're all dressed up with looking for a place to go, want to get involved in the lithium business. So we decided to, after taking a hard look at Quebec and seeing the escalating prices for land acquisition, we decided to focus in Ontario, and
Right.
focus we did. We are now the largest landholder of greenfields properties in all of Ontario for lithium prospects.
Wow.
So, that's quite a jump from 2 months ago being a little company looking for a purpose to having a
Mm.
significant purpose now. At the same
And you
time,
rattled off the names. Just let's go back to the names that you just were dropping, because even people peripherally would have
sure.
heard of these names. And obviously, your CV, your resume speaks volumes, and how you laid it out perfectly. Because you're involved in this, if I'm hearing correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong. You're involved in this because you believe in this, and you're involved in this because you see an opportunity in this, and you're looking through a lens of somebody who has seen opportunity and also seen businesses that you perhaps thought, I don't know that that's one that I would go with. You mentioned being retired, and this pulls you back into the game a little bit, not something that you would take lightly, I assume.
No, not at all. But to flesh out the answers to your questions a little more. So Victor Cantore is very well known. He's with Amex amongst many other companies. He has a great
Yeah,
reputation, and he's the guy that
he
gets
does.
things done, right? Which is why I did the IPO for him in the first place. And then Alain Lambert is a details guy, and he's very active and aggressive, and he stirs the pot a lot. And I've seen him in action before, and quite like what he does. So to join in with their team was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Right.
Secondly, the share structure. There's not much point in a guy like me coming out of retirement and working with a company that has a share structure that's hoop so bad, you'll be lucky if you ever trade over a nickel. So
Right.
this one meets the criteria. And then lastly, but not only, having the ability to go after all these properties and get these properties was sort of the third box ticked for a starter kit. So yeah, I like it. This company's got lots of torque, and that's what appeals to me. Now, eventually you'll have to be successful in the field. We all know that, but you
For
have to have a
sure.
good vehicle to drive to get to the field.
Yeah, it's true.
So we've
Let's
got
talk
one.
about let's talk about
Go
your
ahead.
properties. Take us there. Take us there. Your lithium assets, Frontier Lithium's property, Great Lakes region, Green Technologies Metals properties. Like, let's dive into what, as you said, I drive an electric vehicle. I don't know much about lithium, but I know without it, I wouldn't be able to drive my Prius Prime. And I really enjoy the benefits of that. And I also enjoy the green footprint nature of this. And obviously, mining can be a messy business, but mining for green energy minerals is important to many investors. So talk us through the properties that you've acquired. Like you said, two months ago, you were all dressed up and ready to party, and now it seems like you might be headed towards being the life of the party.
Yes, well, I certainly hope we are. So basically, we've acquired over 150,000 hectares, and each property acquisition that we made is in an area where there are either known discoveries or really good geology. We've done as
Right,
much research as we possibly could with all the information available, instead of just pointing on the map and going here and there. We're pretty selective. So you'll find every property that we have is near somebody that's been successful. And that wasn't the actual criteria, but by going through the geology and other available information, those were the best things we could pick. And along with
right,
getting all of that acreage, we also managed to get the two prospectors that put all of this package together to basically join in with Beyond Minerals as shareholders, and they will be significant shareholders over time. So it's nice to know that. So they're basically locked into the company now to work,
right,
as partners to acquire additional properties, to help with us for work on the ground. And I'm just thrilled with the fact that they see the potential in Beyond Minerals and their properties well enough to take on a large share position in lieu of cash position and work with us, towards fruition and success in the field. So we've got over 500 pegmatites, which would be your basic host, to find the lithium in. And of those, several of them are over 100 meters thick and over 2.5 kilometers long. Besides
wow,
that, some of the other properties have old drills, from the days when nobody knew what lithium was. And that core is still available. So it's kind of a quick check for us on several of those properties. We can obtain that old core and re-assay it to see what it looks like. Instead of hearing, yeah, there was something green in the bottom of the hole, we'll be able to figure out what that actually was. So I'm pretty excited about the whole land package. There are too many of them to discuss. It would take literally hours. And I'm not
yeah,
a geologist, but
yeah,
everything we have is perspective. And then another thing I might say is we have so much land, we can sort of be the trifecta. We can be an aggressive explorer, we can
yeah,
be an aggressive JV creator, and we can also sell some properties. So we have all of those different avenues to walk down. So we're not like a one-trick pony. We're just going to explore and hope it works. We're going to hedge our bets by doing some JVing, and
yeah,
some of the stuff that, because I mean, that's a lot of land to work. We haven't worked out the budget yet. That's the next stage, is to work out the budget and figure it all out. But once you have the
yeah.
budget, it's still going to be a tremendous amount of work on the ground. So we'll need to take part in all three of those different areas and focus on all three of them.
You got to my next question because I was going to ask you about the budget and financing and how that all works. Because 2 months in, it sounds like things are driving along at top speed here, and this is just our first glance with Beyond Minerals. So lots that we can catch up on subsequent interviews. But Allan, I want to talk a little bit about somebody who is watching this right now and thinking this might be the perfect opportunity to get into this game. When it comes to investors, where do they go, and who are they going to connect with to find out, or be put on a list where they'd find out as soon as the budget is together, so they can have maybe that activate their want to be a part of this?
Well, I'm always accessible through the website. My contacts are there, as are others. So, I would hope for a direct contact, quite frankly. We'll make news releases as we can, but just to give
Yeah,
you some forward-looking guidance in the near term, what am I going to do now? So the first thing I'm going to do is I need basically a team leader for the field. So what Beyond Minerals is looking for is a head geo, whether that's on a consulting basis or a full-time VP exploration basis. But I'm on the hunt for that, and I will find one, and I'll find a good one that people know. And from there we'll create our budgets over the next 30 to 60 days. After that, we'll raise the money to meet our budget requirements. And I'm very optimistic about that because I've already received a multitude of phone calls from people wondering when's your flow through coming, or we
Right,
need
right.
hard dollars, those sorts of things. So the next 60 days is going to be pretty exciting. So I would say to people that are looking at it, hey, we're building a machine here. We've got the vehicle now. Now we got to put some fuel in the car. And what's that? Well, that's a project and that's money to make it all happen. That's the next
Yeah,
phase. And then the third phase will be, once we've got that done, is go into the field and see what we've got, and explore to the best of our ability as aggressively and responsibly as we can. We'll deal with First Nations in a proper and responsible manner. We'll tick
I like
all those
that.
boxes off. We'll tick them off.
Excellent.
No,
How do people
I'm
find you?
they find me at Allan.Frame at beyondminerals.ca.
There you go.
There you go.
Beyondminerals.ca. Allan, two L's and an A,
Yes.
ALLAN dot frame, FRAME at beyondminerals.ca. Allan, come back and let us know as soon as you have more news for us, please.
Okay. May I say one more thing before we
You
go?
may, of course.
I talk about torque in the share structure, but I haven't said what it is. So on a
Okay.
non-diluted basis, there's 25 million shares out. 60% of it is owned by insiders, founders, and directors and officers.
Yeah.
7.5% of it is owned by Last Resort and Bounty, who are the people that put together this land package on our behalf, leaving an
7%.
eight
Okay.
leaving an 8 million share float. We have a market cap of $11 million, and we're the largest landowner of greenfields lithium exploration properties in Ontario. And I'll tell you for sure, we are way down the ladder relative to our peers. The stock is very cheap. It's up to us to build value into it, and we'll do our best to do that.
I like the way you're talking. I like the cut of your jib, Allan. Well done on your inaugural voyage here on First Glance with Jody Vance. Keep
Well,
us
thank you.
posted.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Good to have you.